Welcome, everybody, to the show that has more turns than the Big Show, Natalia, and the Young Bucks combined.
Too sweet me. No, won't do it.
No. We are the Transitional Champs. I am, of course, the third most talented person in America, former AEW superstar, the Cripple Threat Ryan Niemiller. And with me, as always, is freshly squeezed Gavin Eddings.
I love being squeezed the most fresh.
I know, like there's nothing worse than getting a slightly too ripe squeeze,
or like a too soon squeeze. Like you gotta just squeeze me when I'm just right.
Keep it just fresh.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What are we doing today, Gavin?
We are making our WrestleMania predictions. I'm coming off of just watching TakeOver Night 2. No spoilers. We were supposed to start recording a little bit ago, but I forgot that every NXT main event needs to be 49 minutes long, no matter who's wrestling.
Yes.
So,
for me, the funniest part of it too, it was like I made the conscious effort to not watch TakeOver Night 2 yet because I was like, oh, I know that we are recording tonight, and then you were like, screw it. So I could have been watching it, but Peacock, of course, has no pause or join in progress or start from the beginning feature just yet. So you kind of either have to accept that you're not going to watch from the beginning if you start late or wait until after. So that is what my night is.
I did watch for the first time on Peacock, and aside from everything you mentioned, it does show you it shows you wrestling.
Yeah, you actually do. If you can find where it is, if you can figure out what year WrestleMania season 15 is, then you can go do it.
But we are in WrestleMania season. WrestleMania 37 is this weekend, live from Tampa Bay, Florida. And we have our WrestleMania predictions right here for nights 1 and night 2, and maybe night 3 and 4, depending on how much money Vince McMahon wants to actually make. Yeah,
I mean, it depends. They can make Monday. I mean, because in fairness, we're not going to talk about it, but SmackDown sort of has some of the WrestleMania stuff. It has the SmackDown tag title match, and then I believe the Andre Battle Royal is on Friday. So
yeah, they're like, we can't really do anything else, so we're gonna put some of these matches on there as well.
Yeah, and just a small prediction: Baron Corbin will win the Battle Royal.
Oh, would be my
guess. I think so. I mean, I have to look to see who else is even in it, but I'm not the biggest Corbin fan in the world, but WWE seems to like him and want him on things.
I have no idea why. He seems like a good enough dude.
Yeah, he's a solid mid-card guy who's always involved in stuff. So I'm actually a little surprised he's not involved in any actual Mania matches. So I figure that's why I'm giving him a small kind of nod to he will win the Andre Battle Royal, and then the Street Profits will win the tag titles.
Okay. And when we get to the women's matches, we'll mention somebody else who notably does not have a WrestleMania match as well. All right, but let's start with WrestleMania Night 1 taking place on Saturday night. And first up on the card, we got Lana and Naomi versus Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose versus the Riot Squad versus Natalia and Tamina. This is a tag team turmoil match, and the winners will receive a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match on night 2, doing some Wrestle Kingdom Kota Ibushi things here.
Yeah, yes, there we go. That's exactly. When I thought of that match, I thought immediately
it's Jay White, Kota Ibushi, but with Dana Brooke and Lana involved.
Yes. For this one, they're going to be taking on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler on night 2. It wouldn't be who I would pick because I feel it's long overdue for the Riot Squad to get something solid. But it seems like, I mean, Naomi's great, and it seems like they desperately still want to make Lana a thing.
Yes,
and Lana's fine. I don't think she's, I'm not going to go all internet neckbeard and be like, whoa. I think she's perfectly fine. I think she just doesn't have the in ring, the kind of carry being in that kind of Sasha, Bianca, Bayley, Charlotte level kind of thing. But so my guess, I'm predicting Lana and Naomi win this match to go on to night 2.
I would like to see Lana and Naomi win this because I felt like there was never a real payoff for those 12 weeks where we watched Lana get put through a table.
Just for it to be just Charlotte's back. That was the payoff that time, was here's Charlotte for no reason.
So I think this could be Lana's WrestleMania moment where I would really like to see the Riot Squad actually become something, consider they're like an actual tag team that do tag team things. Haven't even come close to sniffing the gold in their time together, which is a big bummer. But again, I think this is Lana's time, which is it's Lana time, everybody. Lana Day coming up.
Yeah. And like I said, that's fine. I'm not going to claim I'm super excited for this match, but Lana's harmless to me. I don't think that's a big deal. And I do like Naomi a lot, and I feel she's been underutilized since she's come back. So
I would agree. Yes.
So Lana and Naomi.
Okay, solid choice.
We agree there, it seems.
We agree, yes. Next up on the card for night 1, we've got Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. It seems like WWE might be wanting to make Cesaro a thing again. Every once in a while, they dust off good old Cesaro and say, hey, we're going to push him. And maybe this time we're going to actually push him towards something. So what do you think about this match?
It's tough for me because I would like it to be Cesaro because it's different, and I want to see him. And even if he never wins the title, why there hasn't been a title match between him and Reigns yet? That would be a hard hitting.
Yeah, that'd be
match.
Great.
I want to see them just beat the hell out of each other with strikes, and it would be very believable. I like Seth Rollins. I feel he needs such a character overhaul. There's just something about him now that just he gets X-Pac heat with me now. Yeah. And I like Rollins. He's very talented, and I don't think he needs to be fired or disappear or anything. but there's just something that doesn't quite click anymore, where it just annoys me.
The heel turn that happened after the whole Fiend thing, and people turned on him when he beat the Fiend, and that's when it really started turning. And the whole Monday Night Messiah thing, and just constantly rotating in Austin Theory and Buddy Murphy, and then he feuded with Rey Mysterio for an eternity, and he's just
took his eyeball. He took his eyeball.
He did eye for an eye match. He took his eyeball, and then he went away for a little bit to give birth. And
right out of his urethra. It was very painful.
That's what CrossFit can do for you, is really stretch your peen to deliver a baby.
Noted.
And he came back and we're like, welcome back, Seth Rollins, and then get off my TV screen again.
Yeah. So I'm going to tentatively say Cesaro. If we were doing confidence points on this, it would be very low. Because I do feel like Seth Rollins is just one of those guys that he's going to win for the sake of winning.
Yeah.
But optimistically, and again, I don't hate Seth Rollins. I think he has a place, and some character tweaks can make him super relevant to me again very quickly. But I'm going Cesaro.
Okay, I'm going to go Seth Rollins for all the reasons you just said, because I'm not even going to get my hopes up that they're going to give Cesaro an actual chance. So I'm going with Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah, I will say, though, and this is kind of a theme for me on the entire show, I'm pleasantly surprised that Cesaro's getting a singles match.
Yeah, because he's been on the pre-show. The past couple matches are tag team stuff where he lost to a child.
Yeah, sweet Nicholas. Yeah, but they're Mania's had this issue over the last few years where everything's a multi-person match just to get everyone on there, and then you maybe get 2 or 3 actual singles matches that have any kind of merit, and one of them has Goldberg in it.
Yeah.
So I'm actually surprised. Even night 2 especially has all these matches where I'm oh, he's on the card, sweet, and he gets a singles match, awesome.
Yeah, so Seth Rollins is my pick, Cesaro is your pick, so we shall see who is correct. Yeah. All right, next up, probably my most anticipated match of the weekend is a steel cage match between Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon. I am not excited about this match. I don't know why Shane. It's we joke about it's Goldberg season. WrestleMania season is Shane McMahon season, so he can jump off of something stupid and have that moment, so his kids can go, look, my dad's so dope in his Air Jordans, jumping off a steel cage.
Yeah, this one it's I don't get it. Like the build was weird. There was that really weird segment where he was kind of bullying him, like or just
where he's just
whatever,
like breathing heavily at Braun Strowman.
Like Braun Strowman feels like such a no-brainer to be able to book, and then they do the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was always the problem I had with like years of the Big Show, where it's like the dude is scary and he's athletic. Let him just do that. Like that's it. Like you're making this too complicated. Say what you want about like early Great Khali, for instance, but early Great Khali was booked amazingly because they didn't make him dance. Like he wasn't doing any of these weird stuff. He was just a scary dude who like murdered the Undertaker, and then like that works when you have someone that imposing. And Braun Strowman in the ring is a billion times better than Great Khali was.
Yeah,
and he's a decent talker. Like he's not The Rock, but he can talk and he's scary.
He at least has a catchphrase about his hands. Great Khali never had a hand catchphrrise.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I would love a hand catchphrase. That would be so nice for me. But like I don't understand like and like last year I thought they finally figured it out because like he was the last minute replacement because Reigns didn't feel comfortable having, competing during COVID and all that. But it's this year's been weird. He was in a swamp for a while. And then like Strowman's gonna win this and Shane's gonna fall off of something high. He's gonna like try a shooting star press off the top of the cage or something and miss, and then Strowman will power slam him, and that'll be that. It'll be fine, but like I don't know why this match just literally feels like, well, Shane needs something.
Yeah, I don't know. Braun Strowman there for a while was like the hottest thing in wrestling, and then he was the monster in the bank, and they could have like given him the title, and they just didn't. And then when he did get the title, it was like, this is too late. This is a little too late. So we're all disinterested. I hope that Shane McMahon jumps off the cage and Braun Strowman does like a Mortal Kombat uppercut, and they actually fight. They actually go through the level and have to jump up. But yeah, this is the Shane McMahon needs to do a death-defying stunt for the highlight reel. But yeah, Braun Strowman takes this easily. So there we go.
Hopefully it won't be too long. Shane will take a big bump, and then
75
hopefully Braun gets something consistent after this.
The time limit is 75 minutes minimum, so they have to work the entire time. Good.
Excellent.
Next up, we have the Tag Team Championship for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus AJ Styles and Omos. So the New Day have the titles back now.
Yes.
And it is time for them to take on AJ Styles and Omos. I am excited for this because it's going to be nice to see Omos actually wrestle and like have an actual match. And if he has had one between like, I'm going to be honest with everybody, I have not been watching the build to all this super close because 3 hours of Raw is just a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot. So unless Omos is like breaking chairs over people or getting chairs broken over him, I don't know what he's doing. But I am excited for this because I think Kofi and Xavier are just a really good tag team as the New Day. I like Big E stuff, but Xavier and Kofi seem to gel a lot better.
Yeah. I am thinking I'm going for Styles and Omos on this. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm kind of like you. I don't micromanage and watch every minute of every Raw, but I follow what's going on. I dig Styles and Omos a lot. Mm-hmm. Like when it first happened, it felt so weird because it was like, okay, why does Styles really need a bodyguard? Like, I don't get why, but like Omos he's a cool looking figure. Like he has a great look. He's huge. And especially next to AJ Styles, who's like what, 5'10", if that, you know, like Styles isn't a big dude. So it makes it work good. And like they've protected Omos and made him, a monster without doing too much. Mm-hmm.
He's not
I'm excited to see him. Exactly. Not dancing yet. I'm excited to see him in the ring. Like what I fear because it's WWE is that they have some kind of miscommunication. And then because the act is working, Styles then fires Omos, and then that's the end of that when they don't win the titles. But I'm kind of hoping that, this isn't Diesel and Shawn Michaels kind of thing, but it has a little bit of that feel. Mm-hmm. I don't think Omos is going to be Kevin Nash or anything, but I think Styles and Omos win. I think it's an interesting. I love the New Day. I don't care that they're tag champions anymore. It feels like they're a little past that. Like they're so kind of iconic at this point that the titles are just they don't them having the titles or not does not affect them being cool or not.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make them legit in my eyes. They're already legit. So
yeah. To be fair though, I feel like the Raw Tag Team Championships and any of the WWE championships, tag team wise, are just props. They stop so much with like, we're gonna build the tag team division, and it's even worse with like the women's division where they create the NXT women's tag team championships. Like, well, I thought these were supposed to be defended on all three brands, but now we've got but that's another argument for another time. But yeah, I think that AJ Styles and Omos probably benefit the most from winning the titles, because if not, why are we pairing them together and having them? I don't want them to split like you said and have like an AJ Styles Omos feud, because I don't think Omos is ready for that kind of high profile feud without somebody helping him right now.
Yeah,
because I think he's very big, but I think he's also still pretty green.
Oh, he's green as goose shit, as the old phrase goes. So
yeah, I don't think he needs to be in there doing singles matches quite yet. So hopefully, yeah, I'm going with AJ Styles and Omos as well.
Perfect. Well, so far we only have one thing making me better than you when I get Cesaro right. So we'll see as we go on.
All right, next up, one of the most interesting matches of the entire WrestleMania weekend, which I'm excited for, and what I have seen a lot of the build for, because it's all WWE wants to put on social media because they want that mainstream press. And that is the match of Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. And Bad Bunny apparently is putting in the work. He's working out in the Performance Center. He relocated to Florida. He's been on TV every week. And I think I think Bad Bunny and Damian Priest are going to win.
That is without a doubt. That's probably the easiest thing to predict on this entire show.
You're not gonna bring in Latin Grammy award-winning Bad Bunny to lose on your show. I think this makes everybody look really good. I think it makes Damian Priest look the best, that he just came over from NXT. He's already in a high-profile feud that's getting mainstream attention. I did not give a shit about him when he was in ROH as Damian, or as Truth Martinez.
Punishment Martinez.
Punishment Martinez. But him coming over and really getting like the Archer character and like putting in some solid matches with like the North American title, I become a fan of his. And I think pairing him with Bad Bunny and giving him that superstar rub has been really good. And I think this also helps The Miz bounce back from being a legitimate transitional champion for a week and a half.
Yeah, this show's favorite wrestler, The Miz. He is the transitional champ.
Love him.
Bad Bunny and Damian Priest are winning this. That's, I feel, like I said, it's the most sure bet, I think, on the show. And I've really enjoyed the Bad Bunny stuff. I know if you get too deep on like Reddit or some like internet forums, it's this, well, I don't know who he is, so it doesn't matter. It's stupid. Like for example, when they released merch for Bad Bunny on like WWE.com, he had 4 of the top 5 best-selling shirts.
Yeah,
like immediately, like people care about, just because you don't care. Like you can perfectly have that. I mean, I don't know really much about Bad Bunny as a musician. He's not my genre of stuff, but like I also understand that this works. People care about this, and it is getting some mainstream.
It's such an American thing to be like, well, I don't know who he is, so who is he? Where it's like, oh, there's the rest of the world. Like there's a whole Latin America that loves Bad Bunny and wants to give him awards, and that's a whole like market that they're tapping into. And maybe these fans don't give a shit about wrestling, but they're like, I want to see my favorite musical artist wrestle, and it's only going to help them.
And then maybe they'll watch Bad Bunny and then be like, oh, this show is actually really fun. I enjoyed this. And then and
then they'll watch Raw and be like, no, I made a mistake.
And then I'm out. Yeah. But I just feel sometimes hardcore internet wrestling fans can be so short-sighted. Like the best example I've always had was how anti-Great Khali. This can be the second Great Khali reference.
What is with Great Khali? I feel like we talk about Khali a lot.
I love him. He's a Hall of Famer. I love him. but the amount of people who are just like, oh, well, he can't wrestle. He sucks. He's all this. But like, India's a big market.
Yeah.
It makes sense that WWE would want a piece of that market by having a Indian superstar that they push hard. So it's like, that's why wrestling is great, because ideally a show should have a lot of options, because you're not going to like everything. Even you and me, who are both pretty big wrestling fans, we can watch the same show. Like I lean way more NXT, you lean way more AEW. It doesn't mean one of us is right or wrong, but like we just have different opinions, and then we kind of look at it and be like, well, this is more for me, this is more for you. But then when people are just like, oh, it's stupid, no, it makes sense, and that's why Bad Bunny to me makes sense.
And he makes sense.
That
money.
I mean, at least they're not making him world champion. He was 24/7 champion for a cup of coffee, which was a perfectly harmless thing.
I've been 24/7 champion at some point.
Exactly.
I pinned R-Truth in a men's room at an Arby's, and I had a short reign.
Yeah, so it's like, but I feel this is, it's one of the best builds they've done, and Bad Bunny's put in the work. It's going to be something that I think this match, it's not going to be 5 stars. It's not going to be the match of the night or anything, but I feel it's going to be good because he cares. He's a wrestling fan. And like you said, he's been at the Performance Center. He relocated so he could train more. He's on TV every week. It's going to, I kind of picture this. I feel it's going to be something like the Floyd Mayweather Big Show match from a few years ago, where everyone was like, well, it's going to suck. But you could tell Floyd put in the work. He wanted it to be good, So it's like, I feel this is going to be the case. And there's 3 professionals there that are going to make him look good. It's going to be harmless. It's not going 45. It's going to be a fun little moment. Yeah. Bad Bunny is probably going to get the win with like a splash or something like that. And it'll be a good moment that will be shown on, Entertainment Tonight and those type of shows.
And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think Bad Bunny will be as good, at least, as like Pat McAfee or Stephen Amell. So I think it's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to be like Snoop Dogg doing a splash on Dynamite.
Yes.
I think it's going to be much better than that. So Bad Bunny and Damian Priest win, undoubtedly. If they buried Bad Bunny, I would be completely shocked. I would eat my hat.
I will eat my hat. I will buy you several hats.
I'm just nom. Give me these hats. All right, next up for the co-main. I heard that this could be the main event. I don't know. It's gonna be weird how they do the card.
I think they announced this as the main event earlier this week. I think on Raw they said that the WWE title match will be the main event. So we want to talk about the other one first?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to do Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, singles match for the WWE Women's SmackDown Championship. I think this is hard to pick because Bayley does not have a match during WrestleMania weekend. So there's a lot of speculation. Bayley could help Sasha win and they can reconcile and be friends again. Sasha and Bayley are the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn of the women's division.
Yeah, so, they can be friends or feud, and it's
beautiful.
Gonna work.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's either way.
So I want to say Bianca Belair is going to win because they've really built her up very well. I think she is one of the most legitimate projects to come out of NXT. From the minute I saw her, I knew that she was going to be money with the whole hair whip and just the fact that she is like a bodybuilder and can burning hammer people. Yes. So I want to say in a one-on-one match, they're going to have Bianca Belair win clean. However, Sasha has all the opportunities outside of WWE. They like having her as champion, and Bayley has nothing to do. So I'm going to go out on a limb and just say Bianca Belair is going to win. So that is my pick, is Bianca Belair. That how sure am I? Not very, but I'm picking Bianca.
Yeah, that's interesting because, like, for me personally, I'm almost fully confident that Belair wins this.
You think so?
I don't think it's the end of the feud. I think there's still a lot of mileage here. The build for this has been pretty bad and boring, but this match is going to be awesome. I think they're going to get a lot of time. It's very cool that, like, I feel Belair is the first real star in the women's division that they've been able to make since the 4 Horsewomen came up. Everyone else has kind of felt a little like womp womp.
Yeah.
Besides those 4, I feel Belair is the first one since then to kind of break through and be like, oh yeah, she's legit. Like, this is right. I think there could be some shenanigans with Bayley in the coming months. I feel they could do a Bailey and Sasha reconcile to get the title. There's a lot they can do with that. I don't think it's happening on this night. I think they are crowning Belair clean on this night.
Okay. That is a fair point. Okay. That is a good point.
Yeah. The stuff you mentioned, I feel will happen. Yeah. Just not Saturday.
Okay, fair. So we were picking the same, Bianca Belair. You're 100% confident, and I'm just like, I think there could be some shenanigans.
Exactly. But sweet shenanigans.
At the end of the day, we're picking the same person. Bianca Belair wins that match. And then finally, in the main event of night one, we have Bobby Lashley, who is the champion with MVP, no longer with the Hurt Business because WWE hates its fans and hates good things.
Because it was the only thing good in the men's division for the last year on Raw. So let's murder it and then just squash Cedric and Shelton, and that's it.
Poor Shelton Benjamin. I love Shelton Benjamin. I am like, he's like kind of like my hardcore Holly for you. Like, there's something about Shelton Benjamin I've always really enjoyed, whether he's like the gold standard with like terrible blonde hair or just doing whatever. He's just an athletic freak. And just to see him come back in like the twilight of his career and be able to be in such a high profile position and pairing with Cedric where he can teach him and they really gel together and they're like, nope, we can't have this. We got Bobby Lashley as championship. I do wish they would have given MVP the 24/7 title so they all could have been dripping in gold a little bit. But alas, Bobby Lashley is the WWE champion with MVP and he's taking on Drew McIntyre for a singles match for the WWE championship main eventing night one. I am picking Drew McIntyre because I think they are going to give him the moment he should have had last year.
Yep. That is 100% how I feel. I wish, like, it's a hindsight is 2020 thing. I wish if this was the route they were going, they had given Lashley the title in like September.
Yeah. It feels like they're really hot shotting the title around.
Yeah. And like, I feel Lashley during this Hurt Business run has been great. Mm-hmm. Like legitimately, like he is a star. I am super behind Lashley. The McIntyre is the right choice to win. I know they want to give him the moment he was supposed to have last year with fans and, you can crown him and well-deserved. Drew has been amazing as well.
Yes.
It's at the end of the day though, like Lashley's going to have a reign that's a month and change, if that he hasn't really had any good defenses or anything. Like Miz had Money in the Bank in the fall. They could have done this in the fall, and then just have Drew's chasing and he's chasing. He can't quite get there. The Hurt Business keeps messing with them. Then he eliminates them one by one and he finally gets this match and this is going to be the crown. It just feels like this is a good story. A good 6-month story that got pushed into 6 weeks.
Yeah, and and now it just feels like we only put the title on The Miz to give it to Lashley. And we only put the title on Lashley to give it back to McIntyre. Yeah. When it's just like he hasn't been like McIntyre's only been without the championship for 6 weeks or something. He was without the championship longer to Randy Orton during the summer. So
yeah, whatever. It's I think the match is going to be good. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a really good Hoss fight. It's going to be a great match where they hit hard and it'll be a great moment for McIntyre. I hope the feud continues after because I think there's a lot more mileage here. Mm-hmm. I think Lashley is the first challenger for McIntyre as well. Like I think that kind of continues here for a few months.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is like a really good story that just got condensed too much because they couldn't figure out what to do. So
and we gotta give props to Bobby Lashley, who was kind of going nowhere in WWE for a while until he got with the Hurt Business, RIP Hurt Business, because for a while he was just like bent over, just like showing his butt to the crowd while Leo Rush is like, hit him with your favorite pose, which in itself amazing, but it's not like, but he's not gonna be the champion when he's like showing his ass to the crowd.
And it is nice that like he's been able to focus and win the championship after his marriage to Lana fell apart.
After he was cucking Rusev for what felt like a very long time.
God.
Cucking Rusev, by the way, name of my autobiography.
Cucking Rusev. It's my true crime podcast.
All right, so that is brought to you by Squarespace. All right, so that is night one of WrestleMania.
So night one, we had that we didn't agree on was Cesaro and Rollins.
Yes, and we both could be wrong. Who knows what kind of swerve we'll get? Isaiah Swerve Scott could make his debut.
Who looked amazing on Wednesday, by the way.
Yes,
no spoilers. Have you watched night one too?
I watched Wednesday. Okay. Yes,
he looked great. He looked really good.
Very good. All right. So next up, we've got night 2 taking place on Sunday night. The first match will be Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus who we predicted, which was Lana and Naomi, for the women's tag team championship. And I think we kind of both agree. Do you think that it'll be Lana and Naomi who win?
I do, yes. I've enjoyed the Nia and Shayna partnership for what it is. Like, it is nice. They're an actual team, kind of, in the women's division, which they don't like to do very often. I think it's kind of run its course, though.
Yeah.
I know not everyone's huge on Nia Jax, and I'm not going to claim I'm the biggest fan, but I feel just because of her size and her look, and she's a presence in that division.
She's not like most girls.
Exactly, which is just like me, also not like most girls. But I feel that like she could be better utilized as a monster in the women's division, and a foe for, Asuka or Rhea Ripley. I feel she's more useful in that role. I think this reign is just done. Yeah. I think it's kind of reached this point. So I'm going Naomi and Lana. Or, and the way we'll kind of do it if we're going to keep score. Yeah. Whoever wins, in case we're wrong with Naomi and Lana, whoever wins that, I believe, is also winning the title here too. Good idea. Because now that I'm thinking about it a little bit, I could see them potentially doing Riot Squad, so they can kind of do like these monsters versus scrappy young punks kind of thing. Yeah. Either way, Nia Jax and Shayna do not lead with the titles.
Agreed. All right. It's weird because I don't know. I'm not familiar with all the matches. So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, Riddle versus Sheamus for the United States title. The United States title has been kind of bounced around a lot in the past few months as well. We've got Riddle, no longer Matt Riddle. We've just got Riddle, like the Batman villain, versus Sheamus. And I guess Riddle wins. I could see Sheamus because they really pushed Sheamus hard in that feud with Drew McIntyre, so they could maybe give him a consolation reign. But I don't know. How do you feel?
I think Riddle retains. I think they're big on him, and I think he is kind of Raw's version of Big E as far as someone that they want to like build to be able to crown eventually. Because I think we mentioned it during the Royal Rumble predictions. Like, Big E has been for months my prediction to win the 2022 Royal Rumble. Okay, I think that's his time. So I think they sort of have similar kind of plans for Riddle. Obviously, maybe not winning the Rumble, but like I think that's kind of his trajectory if he stays out of trouble and motivated.
I think the trouble is the most is if he can stay out of court. Stay out of court, so we don't have to drop your first name. So when we Google you, we don't hear sexual assault allegations. Matthew Riddle.
But I do think Riddle wins. I do want to say though, Sheamus has been amazing the last few months. I feel this has been such a good run for him. Like. And I didn't think there was a way to rebuild Sheamus. And I've always liked Sheamus. I think I'm kind of a little bit in the minority of internet wrestling people who kind of has always just had a soft spot for him. I think he's just legit. When he stopped doing limericks, I thought he was good. The bar I thought was great. I've always liked him. And he's just put on great matches after great matches. The stuff with McIntyre has been good. I know Keith Lee's kind of had some COVID/injury stuff, but even the stuff he was doing with him was really good. I'm happy to see that he is getting a decently profiled singles match at WrestleMania. I don't think he's winning. There is a chance that he could win and then loses the title quickly back to Riddle, like WWE with their 50-50 booking likes to do. But I'm predicting Riddle, but I want to give a special shout out to Sheamus has been dope.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I just want to take it aside and say, you know what Sheamus is really good in? The 2016 film Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows as Rock Study. I feel like that movie does not get a lot of love. I feel like he was fun in that. And I just wanted it to be on the record that I enjoyed that movie.
Shout out to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
I need that to be known and in the records.
But did you also know that Kevin Nash was the Super Shredder?
I did know that.
Did you know that?
I did know that. And I will, if I ever meet Kevin Nash, I'll be like, dude, I don't give a shit about your wrestling.
Yeah.
You were fucking dope at Super Shredder. Okay, next up, a match that I'm really excited to see. And I think this match could honestly steal the entire weekend. And that is Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn with Logan Paul. The Logan Paul thing is fucking dumb. I cannot stand Logan Paul, the most punchable face in all of YouTube. But Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, when I mentioned in our wrestling video, our favorite wrestler video, I mentioned how this feud is always so good. They always have such great matches. So I am so excited to see how they take it to the next level at WrestleMania, having a singles match.
Yeah, the only thing I fear about this is that it just becomes like, I don't mind Logan Paul being involved with WrestleMania. Again, he's not something I care for, but he's a name that people hate him enough to want to see what he does. Like, they're going to get pissed that he's there. They want to see him get beat up or whatever it is. Like, he's one of those type of guys. He's polarizing and people are entering. So like, I get his involvement. The one thing I fear about this match is that it becomes either about him or based on just what Sami Zayn's character is right now. This becomes more a comedy match or more Kevin Owens just kind of beating him up.
Yeah.
Obviously Sami can go. They've had great matches in the past and could put on a great match. I don't know if that's what the story is going to be of this, just because this conspiracy theory character kind of lends itself to him being a chicken shit and not actually fighting, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not quite as optimistic for you. They can steal the show. I don't know if that's going to be what they're allowed to do.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I think Kevin Owens wins. From what I've seen of the images of of what they've built for the Mania set, I don't think he's jumping off the pirate ship like he wanted to last year, because it looks like it's really high. So maybe I think he's jumping off of something. I hope he doesn't jump off that ship. It looked pretty high from what I saw. So I think Owens wins, and probably Logan Paul knocks out Zayn kind of thing. Okay. Because I don't think they built that like Logan was like, he just kind of invited him to the premiere of the conspiracy theory documentary or whatever. But I don't think they implied that like Logan Paul's his buddy or anything like that. So I think, because Logan Paul's been doing the boxing stuff, so I think they probably have him knock Zayn out, and either that leads to the finish, or it's like a post-match thing where Zayn's whining because he lost and he starts blaming Logan Paul for not helping him, and then Hugh Jackman's him. Or
Logan Paul goes into the Japanese death force and desecrates another dead body and puts it on YouTube.
That is true. Yeah, here's hoping. Here's hoping.
I'm going to go just so we're not so samey. I'd like to see Kevin Owens win. I think Sami Zayn wins with some sort of
bullshittery.
Bullshittery. Yes. I think Sami Zayn wins because Sami Zayn always tends to get the better of Kevin Owens in these matches, and I think that he'll use his conspiracy. I think Kevin Owens might win, but like he'll start the count over again or claim conspiracy or something. So I think Sami Zayn's gonna win this.
Okay.
There we
go. Two different.
There we go. Man, we're really branching out here. Next up, I have no idea what the hell this match is. Ryan, what is a Nigerian drum fight?
I believe it's just essentially a hardcore match. I think it's just a no DQ. Let me see if I can find any.
By the way, it's between Big E and Apollo Crews. It's not like Matt Riddle and Sheamus in a Nigerian.
Yes, that would be weird. That would be weird. It's Roddy Piper in blackface again.
Oh no, it can't be on Peacock,
which doesn't exist anymore. From what I understand, and I think it's just a fight. It's just like basically anything goes kind of fight. This is probably on this card one of the more shocking things that I never thought I would see in Apollo Crews singles match.
Like what is Apollo Crews? He's just become a thing. And I don't love what they've done with this character. Like having Nigerian heritage is one thing. Making him Black Panther and just going way too far that like, okay, we could have. One thing you can't accuse WWE of is being subtle. They're like
not a lot of nuance in that character. Yeah.
So I saw like, what is a Nigerian drum? What I assume they're going to bring the Punjabi prison back and just put like Nigerian colors on it and say, here's some drums, get out there and fight. I think Big E wins. I think Big E is like one of the shining parts of SmackDown right now. He's just very entertaining. He's got solid in-ring work. They're making him a big deal. But Apollo Crews has a singles match on Mania a year ago. That would not have been possible.
Yeah, I hope they get a lot of time because I think this could be really good.
Yeah,
and even with them being incredibly heavy-handed with the Crews gimmick right now, I still think it's definitely the most interesting he's been on the main roster.
Instead of smiling flippy guy.
Yeah, smiling flippy guy who had no real personality other than he's athletic. Like that was his gimmick. He was he can do stuff. He's strong and he can flip. Cool. I think this will be I think Big E wins. In the back of my head, there's a slight chance Crews wins because I have a feeling I don't want this to be so
predictable,
face heavy.
Yeah.
With the, only good guys winning. And it also depends on when they want to elevate Big E. Like I feel he should be set up for the Mania match next year. WWE has a tendency sometimes to just get like too excited and do that stuff. I mean, hell, we got our first Roman Reigns John Cena match in one of the nonsensical midsummer pay-per-views that no one cared about. When that should have been, say what you want about Reigns or Cena, that should be a WrestleMania main event.
Yes,
but they just threw it. So no guarantee they're going to hold off on Big E till then. You know what? I'm actually going to say I think Apollo Crews wins this, and they kind of continue the feud.
Okay.
After I feel now that I've said it, I'll probably be wrong, but I'm going to stick to my guns and say, just because I've really enjoyed Crews.
I'm going to say Big E wins. I hope they do continue the feud into a drumline match where they wrestle while the movie Drumline plays in the background.
With referee Nick Cannon. I'm all for it.
Oh, God. I think that's our fancy booking. That's our E-Fed right there.
Yeah.
That is the War Games in our E-Fed. I challenge you to drumline match. All right, this match should be interesting. It says it's a singles match. I think it's gonna be more of a Firefly Funhouse match. You got the Fiend, who's now extra crispy, with Alexa Bliss taking on Randy Orton for a feud that seems like it's been going on for almost a year now. He set him on fire back right before Christmas.
That is the most like wrestling thing that you could just like try to say with a straight face. Like, of course, he burned him alive and sent him to hell
right before the Christian holiday of Christmas.
Yeah, he has reascended from the pits of hell.
Which Christian hell exists under the wrestling ring. We've learned this by Kane dragging people down there. There is a portal. That's also where the GM lives, so he's also in hell.
That's also where apparently Hornswoggle and all the little people live under the ring.
In the Little Nas X video, he actually slides down the pole from under a wrestling ring to go twerk on the devil. So
excellent.
Little known fact. So yeah, the Fiend has come back from the pits of actual Christian hell to feud with Randy Orton some more. I hope it's a Firefly Funhouse match. I don't really care about seeing extra crispy Fiend in a singles match at this point. I think I like the Fiend when he's doing spectacle things, and that's what I want. It will be interesting though to see how much they can actually do having a live crowd back, because you cannot set a dummy on fire when there's actual people going, hey, that's not him.
Oh yeah, like that. If I could say there was any major benefit to wrestling during the COVID era, it was a lot of really cool cinematic matches across the board that like that should have been stupid. Yeah. I mean, the Boneyard match last year was one of my favorite matches of the year, by far. It was awesome. And then, they did the they've done a bunch of cinematic stuff in AEW. The Money in the Bank last year
it was essentially it was fun. It was different.
Yeah. So I hope they do something more like that, where it's not even in the ring that much, or it starts in the ring and then gets weird when they brawl somewhere else or something like that. If you're just making this a match, I mean, the last time they wrestled at WrestleMania, it was projected maggots. Like that was the spooky, scary thing.
And that was what I'm gonna be 100% honest. I thought that was cool when I first saw it. I was like, oh, this is so like dark. And then I realized, nah, this is real dumb. This is like they're wrestling on a projector.
Yeah. So I hope this is all spectacle. I think that's how this works. The Fiend as a wrestler, I don't care about as an actual, like, he's wrestling in the ring matches kind of thing. I want him to do stuff like he did with John Cena last year.
Yeah.
For like the fire.
I hope it's that. I hope if they go back through like Randy Orton's career in the Funhouse, like the John Cena, I hope there's just a shot of him shitting in a bag.
Yes.
And like and getting Mr. Kennedy fired.
Like that's it.
It's like
that's the highlights.
Do you remember where you came from? It's just him squatting over somebody's bag.
I do think that the Fiend has to win this.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be like one of those weird like last year the Fiend technically beat Cena, but there wasn't a finish. It just kind of whatever. So I think the Fiend is the winner, but I don't want to guarantee there's a pinfall per se, because we don't know exactly what this is going to be. It could just be a standard match, which I think is the wrong idea.
Yes. But we don't know what happened to John Cena. He hasn't been seen since. He was sent to the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, he was sent to Wipeout on TBS. But yeah, the Fiend wins, and hopefully this, like, I've enjoyed Alexa Bliss during all this as well, because it just gives her some character depth. I think at this point, for me personally, I'm kind of over the spooky wardrobe change. With live crowds coming back, they can't do that anymore anyway.
Yeah.
But I kind of hope this is sort of her getting back to just being
Alexa Bliss,
a wrestler, and not even necessarily, what was, I can't remember what the gimmick was. The Queen, or no, it wasn't the Queen. It was I can't remember it, man. That's how my brain is just fried right now.
No, I get it.
But like, I hope that she doesn't just have to be like, the bitch, which was kind of her character. That she was just like better. I mean, it's kind of what it was. She was just better. Yeah. She thought she was better. Everyone was kind of thing. She can still kind of have the spooky element to her, but I want to see her start fighting again,
and get some championships again. Something going. All right. A match that I'm really excited for because, I'm also going with the Fiend. I think the Fiend wins. Okay. Yeah. Next, the co-main event of night 2, which is a match I'm really excited for. And I'm really glad that this came about because I guess Charlotte got Corona or just is sitting out or whatever's happening. I don't want somebody to get COVID or anything, obviously, but you know what? If life gives you lemons, we get Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. That story is a little weird. Like I'm curious what has actually happened. Cause like, wasn't there also rumors that like they told her she was pregnant, but then she wasn't pregnant. There's a lot of weird stuff going around with why Charlotte kind of disappeared from television.
Yeah, and then there's stuff with Andrade leaving, and they're together and just kind of, there's a lot going on there.
Yes.
And we'll find out all about it on Total Bellas.
Yes.
You have to tune into Wipeout to see what happens.
That would be the best reveal ever.
Oh no.
On Wipeout.
Okay. Next we got Asuka versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. This match is going to be a banger. Rhea Ripley is just it. She is incredible in the ring. She has the look. She has the character. I guess a rock star from the band New Year's Day is going to come sing her theme, which is going to be neat. But when it comes to Rhea Ripley, I don't know if she wins this. I think she does, but Asuka right now has just been pretty dominant. And Rhea Ripley last year lost to Charlotte, so they're not super great about. And again, there's only one match to go off of, but I don't know if they're really ready to pull the trigger on Rhea Ripley on the main roster.
Yeah, so this is a match between two women who shouldn't have lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania, but did. The fact that Charlotte ended Asuka's crazy undefeated streak pretty unceremoniously.
Yeah, by tapping out to a backbend figure 4.
Rhea Ripley had a lot of her momentum killed for no reason after and I'm not even a Charlotte hater. I'm not so blindly like, oh yeah, I don't think she's like Reign of Terror or Triple H or anything like that. I don't have that kind of hate for her, but Rhea Ripley beating her last year makes Rhea Ripley. Charlotte randomly winning the NXT women's title and then really not doing anything with it did nothing. It didn't help Charlotte. It didn't make her any bigger of a star.
It didn't help NXT either.
Yeah, it did nothing. It just
because they only gave her the belt to send her down to NXT to try to compete with AEW, and
sure, it also hit with no fans. So like there were some other outside factors that kind of affected that. But it made no sense.
I don't think people care about Charlotte as much as WWE wants them to care about Charlotte.
Yeah,
and she has almost go away heat because she's perfectly fine. If you just let her exist. And like she's fine in NXT. If you just let her exist and do her own thing and don't flip flop between it, Charlotte should never be face. She is not likable. She does not have qualities of a character that are likable. She's Ric Flair's daughter.
Yeah. So character-wise, she's not likable. From everything I've ever seen, she seems like a very likable human being.
No, yes. As a person.
She's very similar to how I look at Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Like Roman Reigns as a character, you can't just make him I'm a good guy. I'm fighting for what's right. Like, no, that guy's a dick. That's why Reigns is that's why his thing is, but he's like a great dude in real life. Like that's different, like Charlotte, I feel is the same way. She comes like, hey, you're the greatest wrestler of all time's daughter. That should be all you're like, yeah, and I'm even better than him, bitches. Like that's how it should be.
Like nobody's gonna celebrate when you come back from your hiatus and team with Asuka to win the championship. Are we really happy for you? Like,
oh good.
No,
you got another title. We're good. Happy for you.
It looks like the winner of this match between Asuka and Rhea Ripley gets to lose to Charlotte at some point.
Yeah,
which is so it's like who gets to lose to Charlotte? I would. If it's who's going to lose to Charlotte, I would like Asuka to win because Asuka has less to lose than Rhea Ripley losing again to Charlotte. Yeah. So I want Rhea Ripley to win. I think Asuka's had a great reign. I think that she's done a really good job and been a highlight and just a fun character. I want Rhea Ripley to win, but ultimately it's who's going to lose to Charlotte at Extreme Rules, the horror show, Fastlane.
Yeah, it sucks, but I'm still going with Rhea Ripley. Allegedly, they seem to be pretty big on her, and I don't think you make her a thing by essentially having her lose her first big match at Mania coming up. And Asuka, I feel, is established enough that like if she loses, it doesn't kill
fine
her necessarily. Like so. I think so. So I'm going Rhea Ripley.
I'm going Rhea Ripley as well. All right. And now finally the main event of night 2 and probably one of the most interesting matches of WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah. And the one I have the least clue. I still don't know who I'm
I have no idea what
as you started here. So
I have no idea. We've got Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. Everybody assumed it was going to be Roman Reigns versus Edge. Then they include Daniel Bryan, which I think is good. I think is a great move because it allows certain people to take the pin and maybe not take off the shine for some people. I don't know how to even begin to pick this. Do we want to give Daniel Bryan another reign? Do we give it to Edge? Can we trust Edge? Because he got started last year and then got hurt again. Do we let Roman Reigns win by beating Daniel Bryan so Edge doesn't look bad?
Yeah. This one is really tough for me because as we, when we talk about doing this video, I can in my head make a good argument for all three of them. My heart, like if you want my personal opinion, I think Reigns should retain. Just because I feel Reigns is the best thing that WWE has going right now.
Yeah.
As far as just character, the depth of it, just his reign, he legitimately, he freaks me out. Like just like some of his manipulation stuff, like he's scary.
Yeah.
Like his character.
Call me the head of the
works.
table. And like his stuff with Jey Uso, where he just basically beat him into submission.
Yeah. And even the stuff, like a lot of it was a little silly, but just the stuff with why can't I think of his name? With Adam
Pierce.
I kept saying Copeland because I have Edge on the brain, and I'm like, no, that's not right. Adam Pierce.
Even Adam Sessler from X-Play.
Yes. Yeah. But even like a lot of that like had that really cool like uncomfortable feeling to it of like, oh, we're about to watch a dude get murdered.
Yeah, like I like the underlying almost mob boss that Roman Reigns is doing, where it's like, oh, he's real calm and collected, but he'll cut your head off.
Yeah. So I would want him to win. I think he's not going to, though.
Yeah.
The way that I kind of feel about this, and I've kind of liked it, and even like the heel turn, like Edge is just kind of like I'm fighting to get my career back. That kind of I feel a lot of that missed its window just because he got hurt, and that's not his fault. That's not anyone's fault. But I feel that story was a story for last year. But he was injured during it, so you couldn't really tell that story. So I kind of like this back to the ultimate opportunists kind of deal. Daniel Bryan, I feel, is just to kind of help with they need a baby face for the match, essentially. I think he's great, and I think the match will be great. I don't think they do all this stuff with bringing back Edge and having him win the Rumble for him not to leave with the title.
Yeah.
But it's also WrestleMania, WrestleMania season, and it's night 2 of it. Do you have a heel end the show as champ? That's why I honestly like I feel this would be an easier match to predict if it was night 1. I thought for me it was a no-brainer that McIntyre and Lashley would be night 2, because then of course you end the show with Drew, that's how you end it. The fact that they're doing that night 1 makes me kind of go, well, I have no idea now. So I'm going to, with very little confidence, pick Edge, but really this one is a flip of a 3-sided coin for me.
I am going to go with I think it's going to be Edge, because they want that moment of like, he came back and he overcame, and then we'll have Christian as AEW champion within a week. No, I think it's going to be Edge. I'm going to pick Roman Reigns because I think WWE may be smart enough, and that is a big maybe. They may be smart enough to realize they have a good thing going with him and want to keep the head of the table stuff going.
Yeah, because it's one of the situations where I think Reigns is good enough where he doesn't necessarily need the championship to be relevant. I feel the head of the table stuff has a lot more legs to it, and he needs to be the guy that you want to see someone finally overcome. And like in a perfect world, I don't think they'll wait this long to have Big E be built up as the guy who finally beats him next year. Yeah. I personally would have Reigns keep this title for another year.
Yeah.
I would have him not lose until Mania 38 and then have Big E beat him.
Honestly, I felt the build to Kevin Owens and Reigns, if they were going to take the belt off him for a little bit, I thought Kevin Owens probably would have been the guy to do it, because I felt there was more invested in that story of trying to overcome him. I just don't see Edge or Daniel Bryan having enough invested to overcome that and be able to feel good about the storytelling.
Yeah. So personally, I think Reigns should win. Yeah. If you're making me pick, I'm going with Edge.
Okay. I'm going to pick Reigns just to be different. And I think that maybe, just maybe, the WWE will not ruin a good thing.
Yeah. And this is one of those situations, and it won't happen very often, Gavin, where I'm actively hoping you are correct. Right? I'm making my pick trying to win.
Yeah.
But I am hoping you are right on this one.
So what's going to happen is Edge is going to win. Roman Reigns will turn face again. And the whole past year will be a nice little fever dream.
And he'll be like, I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm the guy.
Suffering succotash.
Yeah.
And then out comes his good friend Dean Ambrose wearing a gas mask.
Yeah.
And talking about how... you know what? off track. I'm going with Reigns. You're going with Edge. But they were so close to having something with Jon Moxley as an anti-germ person. If they had just waited just a little bit, they could have got that.
It would have been perfect.
Could have got that COVID heat. Could have got that. Okay.
I'm honestly surprised with WWE's kind of track record for not always being the most tactful during serious situations. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised they haven't run a gimmick where like someone like a heel coughs in someone's mouth or something like that. Like somebody like the gimmick is like, oh, I've seen you out at bars. You've been out like not socially distancing. Well, and then like he turns heel and like coughs in the guy's mouth and there's a COVID scare. I'm shocked they haven't done it.
Well,
like, that's totally in bad taste. That's an awful taste. Doesn't mean I'm not surprised they haven't done it.
They have been doing that gimmick. His name is Drake Wirtz. I could have been if I would have been if I could have been at the Capitol, I would have been.
Wow.
I was going to say something. Now I can't remember what it was. Must not be that important. It's probably something really, really relevant. But
you can edit it in later.
I'll edit it.
If you think of it when you're editing, you can just put it back in.
I'll just piece it together with you and be like, "Hello, what do you think?"
Make it look natural.
No, I'll make it look real natural.
All right, so I feel good about this. This is going to be a good night. I think, or a good weekend. I feel.
Yeah.
I feel this has been a fun week of wrestling so far. I'm about to go watch night 2 of Takeover.
I'll probably end up texting you during one of the matches and be like, this is so long. This show is so long. What is happening?
They have 2 nights. How is night 1 6 hours? I don't understand.
Are you excited for any other non-WrestleMania shows this weekend?
I honestly haven't looked too much into any of it. I will look. So I'm actually traveling to Minnesota tomorrow. I'm doing a college in Minnesota. I get to actually perform and make money again. So that's just gonna be a little heads up for you or anyone else who might watch this beforehand. I don't get to watch either night live.
Okay, so I will not text you letting you know.
Please do not. Or if you text me, keep it very vague. Yeah. That's all I say, because Saturday's my travel day back from Minneapolis, so I'm gonna watch that at night, and then I just have meetings and stuff. So I'll be off and on during. Because of Peacock being dope and not letting you start from beginning or pause in the middle of a live show.
Good to know.
I'll probably just wait until it's over and then start it then.
Good to know.
So you won't see me on social media. But comment on this video, everybody. Who do you think is going to win? How do you think our if you see this in time, put your predictions down below. If not, laugh at us for how wrong we were.
Or still make your predictions and act like you were in before the event actually happened.
Yes.
Be like, I totally called the Bastion Booger coming in and ruining Sasha Banks's title reign.
Yeah, because we're also dumb and don't know how to read timestamps, so we'll assume you're correct.
I'll be like, yeah, the Bastion Booger was there. What a weird run-in. All right, Ryan. You said you're going to be in Minnesota on Friday, which is tomorrow which is today when this goes up.
No one can come to that show publicly anyway. It's at a college. It's for the students only. So
good to know.
No one's missing out on not seeing this in time.
And if you've seen your comedy, are they really missing out?
They're not. But people still pay me. It's amazing.
All right. Where can people find you on the internet if they want to hate your comedy?
At CrippleThreat8 on all the things. CrippleThreat.com for my touring schedule. And come see a live show. I'm actually getting to work a little bit here coming up. I'm in Rochester, New York. I'm in St. Louis. I'm in Boston. I'm in Albany. I am in Des Moines. And then somewhere else. So I actually get
these places are getting worse.
all the big cities.
You're like you went from Boston to Des Moines real fast.
Yeah, Boston. I'm in Schitt's Creek. I'm in Bucksnort, Tennessee with Bunkhouse Buck. I'm performing at a Kroger. After that, I open up a Jiffy Lube right after that.
As someone who has performed at a TGI Fridays more than 2 times, it is not without the realm of possibility that we may be at a chain restaurant.
Comedy is dope. But come see me on tour.
All right. And as for me, you can follow me on social media at Gavin Eddings on Twitter and Instagram, where I just complain about how depressed I am most of the time, and also about wrestling hot takes. You can also follow my horror YouTube channel at Gavin Loves Horror right here on the YouTube machine. But please like and subscribe to this channel so we can get that sweet, sweet YouTube money.
Yeah, just then we don't have to do this anymore. That's what we want to do.
I want to be able to watch wrestling and not have to get on a video with Ryan right afterwards and be like, let's make our predictions.
Let's talk about it.
But yeah, for real though, tell your friends about it just because we like doing it, but we want people to see it. So
perfect.
There you go. All right. As always, I'm Gavin.
I'm Ryan.
You say
and we are the transitional team. I was like, are you gonna?
We'll get it one time.
One of these times. We'll make it work.